This is for Class Pro 210 at UAT. I have put together a website using Adobe Photoshop CS2 and Dreamweaver CS3. All graphics and files are works of mine except for the Unreal Tournament guy at the top of the page on the main page of my site and the Unreal Tournament model at the entry page of my site. All other works have been designed for and developed by me, and all graphic files have been designed by myself. To start, the home page for my site, where you will find this video, there's a background image that is of my level, DM Manslaughter 2 for Unreal Tournament 2004. To continue, we'll go ahead and click on the About section. Here in this section you will find a little bit about me and my personal information, along with my resume, which is linked at the very bottom of the document. The picture on the right is of me and my girlfriend. As we move forward, the portfolio section of my page is where you'll find the meat of this document or this website. Inside of my portfolio section you'll find documents, game analysis, and maps. Documents are going to be exactly as they sound. They're going to be game design documents, typically Word files. There may be some Excel files in this as well. And you can click on that to bring up 4 different areas of expertise: designs, pitches, high concepts, and scripts. Designs is going to be my completed works. Pitches will be single-page documents typically related towards pitching a game idea to a producer or publisher. High concepts will be games that I'm taking a little bit further and developing not a full design Bible for, but really kind of fleshing out the meat and potatoes of the design and determining what exactly we're trying to develop. Scripts is exactly as they sound. Those are actual storyboard scripts, and you'll find a copy of scripts and character developments there. To begin with, let's go to designs. Inside of designs, there is one document that I have included here. It is my design that I worked with 3 other UAT students for a final project in my freshman year. It was a game called Parched. The original concept idea was mine. It was inspired by the movie Akira. And basically what this is Parched is a document that goes over a first-person shooter MMO style game. My fellow co-workers in this particular, or co-students in this particular development, were not familiar with MMOs as a general title or as a general genre. They had no experience playing MMOs. I've had extensive experience playing MMOs, so I was influencing them heavily in this design. Parched is about a world post-apocalyptic where the Chosen are members of a secret society or a society called the Chosen, and they are mainly composed of people that possess the most valuable resource in the world, water. As after the fallout of post-nuclear war, it left most of the world uninhabitable. So man turned to man-made structures that were designed to stand 40,000 feet tall to live inside of. And like anything, the people that built them were the people with the most power, and they are the ones that control the most vital resource in the world today, water. Without water, we all die. So Parched is a story-driven MMO game where players will interact with millions of other players, all in an attempt to either join factions with the water company or fight against them. Inside of this, you'll find at the very bottom linked the actual Parched document, the game design document. It's about 96 pages long. It's very comprehensive and very detailed. And you will find also an Excel spreadsheet that shows an example of a fully leveled priest in the game of Parched and the skill sets and the powers that he would have, as well as specializations. Moving on from here, I have included pitches. And as we were saying before, pitches are basically high concept ideas that are intended solely for pitching to publishers. There's no real information behind it other than the concept behind the documents and what we're really trying to accomplish. So my first pitch that I present is Bermuda. And this was another project I co-worked with another student on. She and I came up with the idea for Bermuda. I influenced her decisions into what engines to use for the game design, as well as the general backstory behind the idea. And she took her ideas and her fascination for the Bermuda Triangle and incorporated it into this document. Please feel free to take a look at that in greater detail. There's a link at the bottom of that section. Followed after that is a game that I designed on my own called Advanced Tactics Team Warfare. This game is really intended to be more of a multiplayer game. However, there is going to be a single-player element of this game, and that element would compose of a more Tom Clancy Rainbow Six type environment, where players will be tasked with setting up detailed attack plans and coordinating multiple squad members successfully. After pitches, we go to high concepts. Inside of high concepts, I have one creation that was my own work, a game called Volition. Volition was a game that was based around the incorporation of corporate city-states instead of the typical government we have today. Basically, corporations grew powerful enough that they eventually overthrew the government and took over control of the world. And essentially went back to a more feudalistic society ideal. And inside of that ideal, the corporations run everything. Volition's a little unique in comparison to other games. It is a third-person action-adventure game, very similar to the influences from Grand Theft Auto, Crackdown, any third-person sandbox game you can think of. Only difference with Volition is that players are not equipped with guns. They are only able to use their environment to navigate, to handle encounters, and move forward. The final section of my documents is scripts. Inside the scripts, I have a simple script for the opening sequence for a game called The Grand Adventures of Buck Savoy. This is a design that I had made up on my own. This particular design is a full character profile of all the different characters involved in the opening sequence, along with a series of arcing storyline structures that affect the gameplay based on what the character does inside of, what the player does inside of the game. Moving on from there, we have my game analysis. Game analysis is really breakdowns of components or contexts of information on games. So I start with Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. And Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter was released a couple of years ago, so when it was released I wrote this particular document after I had played through the game. And basically what I go through is a number of different elements of the gameplay, the user interface, the hooks that tie a player in, and what makes it different from the rest of the genre. The next one I break down is Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty by Konami Games. Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm really talking about the intro level and how Hideo Kojima is able to capture the audience's attention in the first level of the game and really drive them to want to continue to play the game, because I think it's very important. That's how you get your hooks into a player and you're able to progress your game further. And then my final one is more of a level breakdown, and that's for Blizzard Entertainment's World of Warcraft, and specifically rated to the Zul'Gurub instance, the post-Trinity rated instance for World of Warcraft. It talks about level design, maybe some of the thoughts designers had while they were putting together this level, how they were designing and balancing the encounter so that it would be both challenging and fun and rewarding for players. The final section in my portfolio is maps, and that's exactly as it sounds. Those are actually working maps of different games, or on different game systems. The first one I've included is my Unreal Tournament 2004 map, DM Manslaughter. This was designed as a 1 versus 1 DM environment. This particular map was designed using the Unreal toolset. Unreal Editor 3.0 was the version. It was designed only using the pre-existing assets within inside of the Unreal Editor. I wanted to challenge myself to take pre-existing game art assets and make something compelling and fun with it. I think I've done a pretty good job with this example. The last one is a group of projects for my Warcraft 3 editor set, the World Editor. These were all made with the toolset World Editor. The first one that I present is a scenario called Rise of the Hero. And Rise of a Hero is about a group of weary travelers who have obviously been journeying for a very long time looking for a long-lost hero. And they come into this map and they're immediately faced with the decision of either going left or right. And the disinterest within the squad is very, very apparent through the matinee process. And this is really a showcase of how to use the trigger editor to create scripted story sequences and affect gameplay through trigger editing and script editing within inside of the Warcraft World Editor toolset. The next one I did was called The Cleansing of Felwood. The Cleansing of Felwood is a comprehensive description that basically is a two-player melee-based map. This follows all the melee map requirements to make an experience for multiplayer within inside of the Warcraft 3. So there's no custom anything here. It is simply using pre-designed assets for a melee class-based 1 versus 1 experience. And that will sum up everything inside of my portfolio. The next section is my contact, which is fairly obvious. It's just my email addresses. For those of you outside the school that may be viewing this, you may contact me at jbergmandesigner@gmail.com. For those contacts within inside of UAT, you can use my school address, which is jesbergm@uat.edu. The final link on my site is my blog. Inside of here, I have not spent a lot of time with the blog yet. I'm planning to do more blogging. However, you can find any information that's related to my personal life, as well as from this point forward, I'm going to include any kind of game analysis for games that I'm playing today. Thank you for taking some time to check my website out, and I look forward to the feedback that you can provide.